Hey, Davu here. Today I want to talk about a Sonic game. I thought it would be Sonic Free and Knuckles, or formerly known as Sonic Free. Since it was due to McDonald's split in two parts, Happy Meal toys, you can look it up in case you don't believe me. Anyway, Sonic Free, the sequel to Sonic 2 on the Genesis. There's a plot in Sonic Free from its predecessor, Sonic 2, that builds on top of it. The Death Egg has crash landed on Angel Island, and that is where Dr. Robotnik or Eggman meets up with Knuckles, where they negotiate to stop Sonic from stealing the Master Emerald or unleashing chaos on the island. Sonic can do the Insta Shield, which gives the player a split second of protection from badniks with spikes, and let you, the player, get invincibility. Knuckles can glide and climb on tiles, as well as walls, and Tails can swim and fly, making it so that he gets to become the easy mode of the experience. In more recent titles such as Sonic Mania, Knuckles would still be playable, albeit not jump as high and have similar branching paths to Sonic in that game. Mirage Saloon Act 1 had a unique path if you played as Knuckles up until that point in Sonic Mania. There is the bubble shield that lets you bounce and breathe underwater. It acts as a stomp in more modern games such as Colors and Generations. I found it useful while bouncing off badniks to reach higher heights, or while I was navigating through certain paths. The fire shield lets you dash forward to your target up ahead. This is a homing chain that makes you attack. Then there's the lightning shield. That lets you collect rings near you, or rather where nearby or close by the player wanders about. This enhances Sonic 2 on the Genesis, in my opinion, by letting you advance forward with more modern techniques that aren't commonly known to gamers, and it allows you to breathe in the objects on a different level, which in turn lets you become more immersive in the experience. And on top of that, there's also the unique backgrounds that blend in together compared to how it was in Sonic 2, which made the levels, for instance, Hilltop Zone. I can imagine the clouds, but not the tile set with the background itself. So I would argue Sonic 3 is grounded in realism to a degree compared to Sonic 2. In games like Sonic Colors, Sonic could double jump and use the wisps as his power-ups in 2D sections. However, here we see Sonic doing things he would not normally do in a 2D classic Sonic game, making it so that the experience is all the more worth it. The elemental shields more than make up for it and make the game fun and enjoyable to traverse. Sandopolis Act 2 can be painful to travel through, which is why some prefer Sonic 2 over the overall package of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. However, in Sonic 3's defense, I think the special stages and elemental shields help its downsides or downgrades in quality. While newer games get played nowadays, I still have a soft spot for Sonic 3 in its own way to this day, considering the developer's knowledge of Sonic pinball physics at the time and how he could design levels around it. Sonic 1 was a platformer, Sonic 2 was the action platformer, and 3 is more grounded in its narrative, from its levels to the stages themselves, the acts and the zones, not individually, but as a complete package. The levels are very huge. Sonic 3 lets you observe the levels from different angles depending on who you choose as your go-to character or player to play as, enhancing the experience by having you do something you enjoy from the previous titles like Sonic 1, 2, and CD, if you also want to count that one, which I intend to review here on this YouTube channel. And I also intend to re-review Shadow Generations in 20 minutes, no less, in order to give that game the fair review that I think it would deserve if I was more time optimistic than I am while I'm working on other projects outside of YouTube. To my Instagram, for instance. Sonic can hover while he uses his lightning shield. He can also touch fire while he has the fire shield or lava. Then on the other hand, the bubble shield lets him breathe underwater, which is quite useful in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. In any case, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a certified classic you will enjoy. The bosses are cleverly designed, though some leave a lot to be desired in their motive or design philosophy. Also, there is a good range of content in this game in general. The levels are huge and breach of branching paths, enhancing Sonic 2 in another level, which I explained in my Davu's favorite Sonic game video part 2. But regardless, I firmly stand by what I stated earlier about this game from back in high school. It's my favorite of the classic Sonic games, and I would even go as far as to say it is objectively far more nuanced in its design, special stages, bosses compared to how it was back in Sonic 2 on the Genesis. This is how action platformers should be done. Sonic 3 absolutely nails it, from its branching paths to its difficulty curve, obstacle hazards, as well as enemy placements, and so much more. And Knuckles makes these levels feel all the more interconnected, which adds a level of immersion in difficulty thanks to his gameplay, being more difficult compared to Amy, Tails, and Sonic.